What's going on, comic book community and YouTube? I know I'm late, but I wanted to do my reviews of the week, of the weekly books. Uh, I know I don't have a bunch, so let's just get right into it. So, just a recap of what I got. I picked up multiple copies, but I picked up Flash, Nightwing, Detective Comics, Harrow County, and Action Comics. These are what I thought, and for me, so let's see, I picked up 5 books. These are going to be my top 5 in order, from first to last, on what I thought was the better book for me, or what were the better books this week for me. So to start it off, my number one pick this week. Or you know what? Should we do it? Should we do it backwards? Should we do it from least favorite to number one? Is that how they do it? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do least to first. So my number 5 pick for the week is Action Comics, number 959. Now I really liked Superman last week. It was really good. I really like seeing the dynamic between him and his son and Lois. I didn't. I mean, this was okay. It didn't wow me, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of Superman fans are like, "No, this was really good," but to me, this just wasn't. I don't know. This was one of those for me where I was reading it and I kind of was counting the pages left. Like, how much more do I gotta go? Like, I don't know. Like, it had some action. He's fighting Doomsday, and Lex is like. I was hoping to see more of like what Lex Luthor, the new, as Superman's son calls him, Super Lex. I was hoping to see some Super Lax in action. Super Lax, like the laxative. False. It's more like Superman is fighting Doomsday and keeping him off and having dialogue with Clark Kent while Lex is kind of like, I'm helping, right? Like, he's just kind of like, I'm helping! Yay! Like, I'm helping! Right? Like, that's just what it felt like to me, and I didn't enjoy it. And then it cuts to Lois consoling, Jonathan, their son John. Trying to explain to him what's going. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I'm not a big Superman fan, and I was surprised that I liked the Superman issue. I didn't like Action Comics this week, so that's my number 5. Not digging it. And then my number 4 was Harrow County. And I know I talk about it every time that I get it, but if you're not picking up Harrow County, pick it up. This is a fantastic horror series. Pick it up before the books. The books are already starting. The back issues of it are already starting to go up from cover price to like $6 or more. So if you're gonna pick it up, go pick it up now before you just are gonna end up paying too much. This is a fantastic series by Dark Horse. I think I showed a little sneak peek last week on Wednesday when I bought the book, so I'm not going to go into that. But this is my number 4. It was absolutely, it's as good as what it was when we first started getting to it. Both me and Kim really love this book, so that's my number 4. Beats Action Comics, way better, way more enjoyable to read, and I'm not counting the pages left. Like, what the fuck do I got left? Now, in a shocking turn of events, this is my number 3. It's Detective Comics. I was actually I had a lot of high praise for this series, and I think this just might be one of the books where I'm just like, this wasn't very good. This was good. It was better than Harrow County, and it was better than Action for me, but it was still blah. Batman, there's like a new army. it's kind of, you know, it's like an army that's attacking them, the group. Batman needs help. You know, they phone everyone in, Clayface, Red Robin, you know, they phone everyone in, Orphan, everyone gets called in. But and I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking this is gonna be cool. The beginning's got me. They're phoning everyone in. You know, you're seeing everyone getting called in, and I'm like, yes, we're gonna see the team in action without Bats at the wheel because he's getting messed up. So everyone's getting called in, and Batwoman decides to call in her dad. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you're a grown woman. Like, why are you calling your dad in? You know, like, I feel like this book was, it should have been called Batwoman number 936, not Detective Comics, not Batman Detective Comics. This was the Batwoman show, and it, you know what? Fuck that. It should have been called Batwoman. It should have been entitled Batwoman Daddy. The story arc should have been called Daddy Issues. That's what this should be called. This was just Batwoman's daddy issues. It should have been like a side story. That's all this was, and I'm not enjoying it. I feel like we're on track to having a really good story with some villains, but then we got, you know, the train got off the rails. Really good story. I'm liking it better than Batman. Here we go. We're on the Detective Comics train. Oh, we went off the rails because Batwoman's got to have daddy issues, and Daddy turns out to be, spoiler alert, he turns out to be the saboteur. You know, the who is starting all this and who had Batman fucked up in the first place. You know, and meanwhile, she's shocked, like, why, Daddy? You're my daddy. Why'd you do this? Meanwhile, you know, my favorite Robin, Tim, is actually trying to do something. Clayface, you know, they're having some decent dialogue trying to figure out how they're going to stop this. I just think this could have been a better book. And I think next issue will be. I just didn't care for this being the Batwoman show in this book. So that's why it got my number 3. Kind of disappointed, but we'll see. My number 2 was Nightwing. I was expecting this to be my number 1, but, you know, it had some things that I wasn't too happy with. I really enjoyed, well, this is the Nightwing Rebirth. This isn't really the start of the new series, you know, from number 1. This is the one shot. It was good. It was pretty much him tying up, it was Dick Grayson tying up loose ends with everyone before, and then kind of him picking up the Nightwing mantle again, which is weird because I feel like he already did that in the Titans book that I talked about before Rebirth happened. But I guess since Rebirth happened, anything that kind of happened before that doesn't matter. So I don't know. But this is him tying up loose ends and saying goodbye to people, which was okay. You know, that was the iffy parts for me. But then like him and Damian at an arcade together, you know, eating pizza and discussing Batman and stuff. That was really cool. I really liked seeing that. I love seeing when the Robins get together outside of, you know, fighting crime and being Robins and having friendly discussions and banter and playing games. And so I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the dialogue between him and Batman. That's Dick Grayson, by the way. Him and Batman. You know, Midnighter's in this. That was cool. He gets some help. So there's a lot of good, positive things in this book. More so than I can say. I enjoyed this book more than Detectives because it wasn't like a one-person show. You know, Batman was in it, and he had some good dialogue. Damian was in it. So it wasn't just the Nightwing show, but it definitely was getting him ready. You know, it was him picking up the mantle and getting ready for issue number 1. So that's my number 2. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The art was good. I like I said, I didn't. I mean, I've said this before. I didn't pick up Grayson when it was going on. I just don't like Dick Grayson as agent, as just a secret agent. I didn't like that. I know a lot of people did. It just wasn't for me. I'd rather see him as Nightwing, and that's kind of what I got. So that was good. It wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like, you know, off the ropes, and he's already fighting crime, and oh, yeah, the Court of Owls. I mean, not to jump to the next book, but the Court of. I mean, we had some owls. I'm glad that the court is still kind of around because that's such an awesome story that they could do. So just pick this up. This was a good book, and I feel like number one's going to be even better. So my number one issue for this last week, and I know I didn't pick up everything. I'm just not going to. I'm going to only be doing, like I said, the books that I pick up that I'm actually going to read. And maybe some is strange, but I can't afford to pick up everything. If people want to send me books or suggest books for me to review, then I will. But I can't afford every indie and all the DC, and I just can't do it. And plus get, Silver Age Batman. I just can't afford it right now. So here's my number one, guys. And that was Flash number 2. I hate this cover. I don't know why I'm showing you this cover. I don't like it. Besides, having a speedster right here, and when you read the book, you finally realize what's going on here. But I don't want to make it look like I hate this book because I actually really enjoyed it. This was a really good book. It sets up a lot of cool stuff at the end. There's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't read it yet, let's see. I guess I can talk about some stuff. Well, it's going to be all spoilers, so it's a spoilers. Don't watch this video until you read it. Or just pause here and read this book. So basically, we get to see more between Barry and August. August is his partner and friend who has become a speedster, and now they're sharing the Speed Force. In this issue, Barry's kind of mentoring August on how to do moves that he already knows how to do and teaching on how to control himself. And Barry's, he's got some dialogue. He's saying how he really enjoys teaching somebody again. Now that old Wally's back, and he already knows how to do everything, and he's, in the Titans again. He's off doing his own thing. Barry feels alone, and he doesn't have anybody to really talk to. But he's super happy now that he has August, who has got these new powers, and they're the same as Barry's, and he has somebody to talk about being a speedster and share these stories. I really enjoyed that. I liked that a lot. I didn't like August's costume, this is his costume that he's decided to pick. I hope it changes because it's awful, except for the coat. The coat's actually really cool. It doesn't look, it's not just pink like this in the book, but the coat's the best thing. Otherwise, he's just wearing, cargo pants and, sneakers and, just some weird goggles. But, I guess being a speedster, it doesn't matter what your costume is because you can vibrate so fast that nobody knows who the fuck you are anyways. But, besides that, it was a great book. You meet a villain who, there's these guys, I forget their names, but they have this gun that they shoot Barry with, and it, I don't know if it steals the Speed Force a little bit or allows them to use it, but the villain, he I think he's the one creating these storms that's going around. And at the end of the book, there's a huge storm, Speed Force thunderstorm, and a ton of people in the city get struck. And there's, at the end, the last page, you're just seeing speedster streaks all along the roads. And there's just, that means there's tons of speedsters. So I'm hoping issue 3, we're going to have I'm hoping this series there's a lot of new characters, a lot of new villains. That's what I'm enjoying. I'm hoping that there's new things in this world. As much as I'd like to see old villains in books that don't get their comeuppance, I would like to see newer stories with newer villains and newer creations, and I'm hoping that's what we're going to get. So that's why this is my number one. Another thing that I forgot to mention in this book is that August confronts Barry with a lot of things like, why don't we just there's like a crime, and he's just like, why don't we just like go through, since we're so fast we could team up, why don't we just go through and look through everybody's like break in and go through everyone's houses and look for all the incriminating stuff, all the evidence. And Barry's like, well, that's, he's like, August, I mean, yeah, we're speedsters, but first of all, we're police, and we can't do that. That would be morally wrong. This book was just good, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, it wasn't good, but to me, I really enjoyed this book. I feel like it had more heart. The art's a little iffy for me. I'm still getting into it, but the story is good. It looks like we have some new stuff going on, and I'm enjoying it. I really am, and I look forward to reading it. I kind of didn't wish it was over. I wish 3 was already out so I can find out, what they're going to do about all these people just flying all over Central City. But yeah, this is great. I recommend this is my number one. So I don't make this video too long, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. If you have any suggestions for my reviews, or if you want to see me pick up a certain book on Wednesdays and review it, leave it in the comments or send me a message. Otherwise, thank you. Take care of each other. And as Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to one another. Because I don't know. Sorry, guys. We watched Bill and Ted's marathon on TV. So, that's going to be my new catchphrase, is just be excellent to each other. Take care, everyone.